Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make this cool wave effect for your text completely procedurally in geometry nodes. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to add a geometry nodes modifier to our cube. And I'll call it wavy text. Okay, and we can basically uncouple this group input because we're not going to need the geometry of the cube. And the first node that we need is the string to curves node, which is basically going to create curves out of strings. And strings are characters, right? So let's call our string wave and let's connect it to the geometry. And here we have it, our text. But it's lying on the side, so to make it stand upright, I'm going to add a transform node like this, so that we can rotate 90 degrees around the x-axis. Now it's standing upright. The next step is to fill in these curves, because this is not very useful. We can't add the material like this. So let's add a set material. Oh no, sorry, that's later. Let's add a fill curve first. We can add the material in a bit. Yeah, one thing I also like to do is to change this from left to center, because that just makes it easier to navigate. Okay, so we've got our text. Now how to animate this? Well, what we'll basically have to do is offset the position on the z-axis for each letter or curve in this new text object. So for that I'm going to be using a wave texture like this. Let me make it a little bit bigger. And we're also going to need a set position node. The wave texture we can then plug into the offset, and like this you can already see it's creating something. It's indeed something like a wave, but not quite, and that's because we're also creating a wave pattern on the y-axis and also on the x-axis, so we need to remove that part and only create a wave for the z-axis. So I'm going to add a separate xyz and a combine xyz. And we're going to connect the z, but the x and the y we're going to keep at 0, so these are still 0. And indeed, there is no wave effect on these other axes anymore. Okay, great. So we've got some wave effect, but there's no way to really animate it. So what I'm going to do now is add some inputs to the group input here to make it easy for us to change the wave effect. And the first thing that we're going to add is the speed of the wave. So basically, if you change the offset of the texture here, it's going to scroll through the wave and we have our effect. But I want to be able to vary this right from in my modifier menu. So I'm going to connect the phase offset to our group input. I'm going to rename this just because it's not very clear what phase offset exactly means. So let's call it wave speed. Now, before I connect it actually to here, so let's unconnect it. The way that we vary this is by playing the animation. So for that we need the scene time node. We're going to connect the seconds to the phase offset. So now, as we play our scene, as the seconds in our scene go up, our texture gets offset. Now it's going a little bit too slow for my liking, so this is where we add a math node that then will control the wave speed. So this is basically what I meant. You can add this wave speed in here, and now you've got this slider to control how fast the wave is going. Oops, I got it on add. That's obviously not what I want. Multiply. So now it's going very fast. Let's get it to a reasonable number. Still a bit too much for me. Yeah. So this is fine so far. Then there's a couple of other inputs that I would like to add as well, and that's the scale one. So before I connect it, let me just show you what scale does. Smaller scale is basically going to give you a smaller how do you call this? Yeah, just a smaller wave or a smaller frequency, I guess you could say. But it's a little bit weird if you need a very long word to really see what's happening if you have a really large scale. So I just added some more A's here, and now you can visualize a little bit better what's happening. So at this is kind of already the maximum of our wave. If you go higher, then it starts to get a bit random. Like here, it's not really, you don't know what's happening here, and then I don't know. Then you get these weird artifacts. I don't know what this is, so don't go too high. This is sort of the maximum. But anyway, we'll add this and we'll call this our frequency, because it's the wave frequency. A frequency basically means the distance between these two peaks. So a smaller frequency creates a smaller distance. Yes. Alrighty. Oh, actually, it's different. A smaller frequency creates a higher distance between these peaks. Yeah, of course, that makes sense. Okay, so that's already two things done. There's another thing that we can add, and that's an amplitude of the wave. So how do we add that? Well, we can scale our wave before we set our position. And that's again with a math node. So let me just, we can use multiply here, and then you'll see that we can increase the size of our wave like this. So let's connect this again to the group input, and we'll call this one wave amplitude, because that's amplitude. Amplitude is the size of the peaks, the height. And then just to be complete, we can also add the character, the string, and the string size to these to the input. Yes, so I'm going to call these text and text size. Now we can change it all from in our modifier window, which is quite handy. Alright, so that was the basics. You can stop here actually, but I'll show you some other things as well. So if you want to add a material, you do that here. So let's create a quick material. I want something yellow. My material. Let's add it here. So now if we go to our render tab, we can see that, yeah, we've added a material, so that's good. Yeah, that's the basics. I don't think I've got anything else to say. Maybe one more thing. In this version, each letter is moving separately, and that's sort of what I wanted. But with a small difference, you can create some cool effects as well. So if you realize these instances, then you can see that yeah, the instances become geometry. That's at least how I think it works. And then you can see that the geometry itself starts to bend a little bit. And this can create some cool effects as well. So, for example, if I change a little bit the amplitude, you can see what I mean. Maybe the frequency a little bit. Yeah. Do you see what I mean? And this is really fun as well. But yeah. This is the tutorial. Hope you enjoyed. Bye bye.